The committee's view of the case. Miss Ringer attended the auction as a potential buyer. The red raincoat was one of the items up for sale, so our assumption is that after winning and paying for it, she left the auction with her purchase. The only exit from the storeroom was, of course, the hatch leading up onto the roof. After she emerged onto the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss Faraday. Shortly thereafter, her flame went out, and thus concludes the committee's view of the case. The raincoat was on offer. I don't know why that was tripping me up so much. The raincoat was on offer that night, is that really true? We believe so, yes. You remember the failed assailant assassination attempt on the president of Zhangfa, I assume? The raincoat is a piece of evidence from that case. It should, of course, have remained safely under lock and key in the appropriate facility, but our inquiries revealed that it did in fact go missing under mysterious circumstances. It wound up in the auction along with everything else. That makes sense, I suppose. Wonderful work, Verity. Just wonderful. Crystal clear as ever. You flatter me, sir. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, perhaps you could save us all some time and simply admit defeat? I'll do no such thing. Thank you very much. Very well. It's good to know that you still have some fight in you. It is? Why? Is she on my side? I feel like I've given her a lot of things to, question and, ponder. Come to think of it, she said some strange things when she visited me this morning, too. What exactly is she up to? But right off the bat, her story, person bought the raincoat, left, and then was attacked. But we already know that's not the case, because the murder happened in the storeroom, and we have the picture of the person in the red coat with with the blood on their hand leaving. So it wouldn't even make sense for... Yeah, because when they arrest me, didn't they say Kay was wearing the coat? Miss Ringer attended, yep. The red raincoat, sure. After winning and paying for it, she left the auction with her purchase, sure. Only exit from the storeroom, hatch, sure. After she emerged, so this is what we know is wrong. Because that. Yeah, because there's blood, so someone is already bleeding prior to this person leaving.
Objection!
Maybe you can clear something up for me, Judge Gavalle. But what is Miss Hart doing here at this hearing? What did I say? Oh, okay. Yeah, Miss Hart's the photographer. Never mind. She is an eyewitness. I thought it'd be obvious. Well, no, I ain't really an eyewitness. More of an ear witness, I guess. Hey, she's not exactly the most confidence-inspiring choice to help you make your case, is she? I like to think that I choose my allies a little more carefully than you, Mr. Edgeworth. Then you should question them more thoroughly, because there's something she hasn't told you. Look at this. It's a photo taken by Miss Hart. Yes, in the storeroom, correct? What of it? According to your theory, the murder occurred up on the roof, but according to Miss Hart's testimony, she happened to witness the entire incident unfold in the storeroom, just before she took this picture. Wait, you're saying Gavalle got it? Wrong. That's exactly what I'm saying. What? Miss Hart, if I may confirm your accounts of the events you witnessed last night, you saw the person in this picture, correct? I sure did, clear as day, and with my own two eyes to boot. And what were your impressions at that point? My impressions? This right here is the scoop of the century, something like that? Yeah, that makes sense. I was hoping more for your impressions of the person in question. Oh, that there's a walking meal ticket? Seriously? Hehehe. Just my little joke. No need to look at me like I sat on your lunch. Old red raincoat, right? Why, I took one look at them and thought, that's our perp right there. And therein lies the rub, for Miss Hart to have thought such a mean thing. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, when will you learn to use your words? If it's an explanation of the facts that you require, you need only ask, you know. What do you mean? I assume you're about to raise the issue of the voices Miss Hart heard? Voices that may be unrelated. Unrelated? You can do better than that. Was one of the voices Miss Hart heard really even Miss Ringer's voice? You're kidding me, right? Them folks was talking about crime-related turkey, or my name ain't Lotta Danghart. Ah, but did you hear them clearly? Well, can't rightly say for sure, but... Yeah, I can't really say nothing, and you know it. They was using voice changers, I done told you all that. Precisely, Miss Hart heard voices, but those voices were disguised. Which means we cannot even be certain that whatever she did over here had anything to do with the murder.
Objection!
Heh. You don't need to yell objection in order to sigh at me, Mr. Edgeworth. It seems I overestimated you, Judge Gavalle. Nonsense. Verity's the best of us, my boy, the very best. And yes, she believes that what Miss Hart heard might not have anything to do with the murder? Even supposing that's the case, it doesn't prove the murder didn't happen in the storeroom. The incident happened before the victim was able to go up to the roof. That much we can say for certain, and I can tell you why. Somehow, none of y'all professionals can see this.
Take that!
We initially thought that the person in the red raincoat was the culprit. Yes, because Miss Hart said as much. Indeed, she told us about the blood she saw on the person's hand, and I doubt many people would have thought differently given her testimony. Ergo, this person is the killer, then the blood we see would be from when they attacked the victim. But knowing what we know now, that this person is in fact the victim, it recontextualizes everything. The presence of the blood still shows that the picture was taken after the attack, but now it tells us something very important about the victim too. Oh, yeah, because if she... So yeah, if she's the victim, but she has blood on her hands, she survived. She would then go up the ladder, which is why there's blood on the ladder, and then she probably collapsed from, like, just bleeding out, and that's why Kay remembers looking down at her. There's no doubt in my mind that the victim was attacked in the storeroom, but here we have a photographic evidence of her standing upright and alive with a bloody hand. This can only mean that Miss Ringer survived the attack. The blood on her hand is from the wounds she had sustained. What are you talking about? Who dies from a hand wound? The wound wasn't on her hand, Mr. Winter. I imagine she had used her hand to try to staunch the wound. That's right, while it's impossible to tell from this angle, the victim was already mortally wounded here. Oh, well that certainly would change things, wouldn't it? It very much would, not least by making it absurd to suggest that Kay was the attacker. Her encounter with the victim happened after this picture had been taken, after the victim had already been attacked and was in critical condition. I put it to you all that Kay witnessed the victim finally succumbing to her wounds. That would have been quite the coincidence. It's a textbook case of wrong place, wrong time, I'd say. You seem to be forgetting a rather important fact, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, that or pretending not to remember it. What? What fact am I forgetting? I think it's time to wrap things up, don't you, Verity? Put the boy out of his misery. Dad, Gavalle works for me. Why do you keep giving her orders? That's my job. Sigh, you really are, Sniffle, a total and utter embarrassment. Am not. I feel like at any moment, Winter is going to take my side, like the kid. Kid Winter is going to take my side and, like, actually help me and be useful for a change. I hate to break it to you, but you both are. Go to it, Gavalle. Put Edgeworth out of his misery. As you wish. What you're forgetting. Miss Ringer's body was found with 3 wounds in her chest, and we all know what those wounds are from, don't we? That's right, they're from when she was stabbed in the chest by a 3-armed candelabra. I doubt anybody could survive such grave wounds. If you care to read the coroner's report, I'm sure you would change your tune. Oh, fuck, I didn't see what... I just saw Winter and my brain just died. Nicely done, Gavalle. Now Edgeworth will have to make several objections. Yes, I'm afraid I will. What? Why? Weren't you listening? Oh, I was listening. Very carefully, in fact. Hence my objections. Come on, why do you always have to undermine me? That's never my intention, I assure you. It isn't? Because you do it so well to yourself every single time already. Of course it isn't. Yeah, I knew that. Because I'm... Please, Eustace, just stop, for goodness sake. You're already embarrassed me enough. Huh? What do you mean, Dad? Ms. Ringer's body was found with 3 wounds in her chest. Check. We all know what those wounds are from, don't we? They're from she was stabbed in the chest by the 3-armed candlewood drum. I doubt anybody could survive such grave wounds. If you care to read the coroner report... Do I have the coroner report? Victim's body discovered in the committee chamber. Preliminary findings place time of death at sometime late last night. Cause of death is the set of 3 puncture wounds on the victim's left side of the chest inflicted by a candle holder. Victim also suffered a head injury post-mortem. Other remarks: prominent burn marks on the back of the victim's hand. There's also the head injury we're not talking about. Well, that one's post-mortem. I don't think it's this. I think it's when she talks about the when she was stabbed in the chest. Three wounds in her chest. Candle. Yeah.
Objection!
There's a clear contradiction in your testimony, Judge Gavalle. Silence. Such statements will not be tolerated by this court. And why not? What precisely is wrong with my statement? For one thing, the fact that you clearly do not believe it yourself. Fuck! Okay, so it's not the head injury that's in the coroner's findings that brings the thing up. I mean, it's also weird that if she died in the red raincoat, why was the red raincoat taken off? Fingerprints and blood were found in the body, so is it this?
Objection!
Chairman Winter, you know what this is, of course. The red raincoat. That's right, isn't it, Verity? Yes, sir. The one Miss Ringer was wearing. I warn you, Mr. Edgeworth, you will not be thanked for retreading old ground here. Well, I'm afraid I might have to regardless. Now then, if you'll answer me this, Judge Gavalle. You told us that the victim's bloodstains were found on the coat. But do you remember where exactly they were found? Of course. They were found on the hood and O. And no. Huh? What's the matter, Verity? The hood and... was blood found anywhere else on the raincoat? No, it was not. Doesn't that strike you as odd? The victim died of stab wounds on the chest. Wouldn't that lead one to expect to find bloodstains in that area? And yet, there was blood only on the hood. That's a glaring contradiction if I ever saw one. The head wound the victim suffered wasn't just some incidental injury. It was inflicted before the stab wound to the chest. Perhaps you are correct, perhaps the victim did sustain the head injury first. As you said, if she had been stabbed first, there should be blood on the chest area of the raincoat. Therefore, Miss Ringer cannot have been stabbed before the head injury had been inflicted on her. But even if we can see this point, that the head injury came before the chest wound, what difference would it make? How does it change our understanding of the case? I'd say it changes things a great deal. In fact, it raises an even more fundamental contradiction. That is quite the bold claim, Mr. Edgeworth. I have to admit, you have me intrigued. Perhaps you could show us this fundamental contradiction. With some evidence. The contradiction is that the coroner thing says that the head was post-mortem.
Take that!
This is Dr. Hertz's preliminary findings, according to which the victim suffered a head injury post-mortem. But the order suggested by the bloodstains on the raincoat is exactly the opposite, yes. Bailiff, this court hereby subpoenas Dr. Hilda Hertz to the committee chamber with all due haste. Until she testifies, this case cannot be brought to a close. Yes, Your Honor, I'll go fetch her at once. Unfortunately, Dr. Hertz is a very busy woman. I doubt she will be able to come immediately. In the meantime, there is another important angle I would like to explore. Frankly, something has been bothering me about the person at the heart of this case. The so-called ringleader. Who exactly are they? Yeah, good point. We never looked into that, huh? Despite having been mentioned repeatedly in this hearing, we still don't even know the most basic facts that might help us uncover their identity. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any thoughts on the matter? We've seen nothing that might serve as clear evidence of the auctioneer's identity as of yet, but there is someone involved with the case that I can name. I suspect that at the very least they might be able to point us in the right direction. And that's Chairman Winner. I demand that you testify as to what you know. What? Are you crazy? Why would you accuse my dad? You would cast doubt on the integrity of the chairman of the committee? Do you understand the implications of such an act? I don't care who or what he is, we're talking about the truth here. About a man who seems dead set on framing Kay at all costs. The mask, corsage, ticket stub, and everything else. The items Kay was carrying when she was found. They were deliberately placed in her possession somehow, by Chairman Winner himself. A shocking accusation, and one I find hard to believe, but for the sake of completeness I must ask, why would he do such a thing? To cast suspicion on Kay, of course, why else? I even managed to get him to say something to that effect. Chairman Winner, your rebuttal, please? I think the good chairman might still be in shock. So what if I did? Did you hear me, dear boy? I said, so what if I did? You say you got me to admit as much, but where is your proof? With no witnesses to speak of, your word alone is hardly enough to make an accusation like that stick. Or do you mean to tell me that you have something more based on to base your outburst on? He still has the arrogance he showed back at the detention center, and yet... Mr. Edgeworth, I'm going to have to ask you to explain yourself. If that's alright, Mr. Chairman. Not at all. I'll be very interested to hear this for myself. I'm intrigued to learn where Miles might have gotten the idea that I'm some sort of criminal. Because you'll never find a more fine and upstanding citizen than myself. He has a lot of nerve, acting all innocent like that. Very well, let's start at the very beginning. The fact that the auction took place right here in this hollowed trial chamber is a point of suspicion. A location that should, by rights, only be accessible to members of the committee. Yeah, they all have key cards to this room after all. Furthermore, these auctions seem to be held on a somewhat regular basis. And for that to be possible, there could only be one winning explanation. I'm like, yes, that's right, Mr. Winner, that the auctioneer is a member of the committee. What? No! What on earth is wrong now? What do I do, Dad? I played right into his hands. Ho ho ho, you did indeed, you utter nitwit. But Miles, my boy, you do realize that you've cast quite the wide net with your explanation. That's true. There are 11 members of the committee altogether. 10, given Miss Ringer's unfortunate passing. 10 potential suspects in total. Well, it certainly is me. I didn't do it. I'm not important enough. Look at how I'm drawn. I am nowhere nearly as animated as everybody else in this picture. And it can't be the chairman, can it be? The one person that actually has an animation. Well, I guess they all have an animation. A detailed character. Whoever it is, speak right up. It is me. It is I. Come, calm down, all of you, please. Well, Miles, is that all the proof you've got against me? Hey, you're very quiet all of a sudden. But it's too late to back out now. You accused a former chief prosecutor and current committee chairman of a crime. I will tell you to prepare for the worst. Stop burning evidence. But there's no preparing for what you're about to face. Know your place. You've been forcing us to argue over every little detail for a while now. Where the murder happened, the order of the victim's injuries, some other things I hardly even remember. But you needn't have bothered, my boy, because it's all irrelevant in the end. Think about it. The suspect herself has already said she did it. That's all that matters at the end of the day, and her sentence will be lighter for it, so rejoice. And there you have it. Feel free to pick holes as you see fit. How can I when that was barely a testimony to begin with? That man, he's a very powerful person, isn't he? It's okay, Mr. Edgeworth. Please, just let it go. I did it. I'm the murderer. I even remember doing it. You saw a flash of something half-remembered, Kay, nothing more. If you must believe in something, believe me when I say you should believe in your own innocence instead. But I'm up against the head of the committee here. This isn't going to be easy. But he seems to think he's already won. Perhaps I can use that against him. You'll be forcing us to argue. I have been. Where the murder happened, the order of the victim, something else you can hardly remember. It's all irrelevant in the end. I mean, she did, but, like, I think she just remembers seeing the body on the ground.
Hold it!
Just because she confessed to something doesn't make it the truth. Kay is suffering from amnesia, so any statement she makes should be taken with at least a grain of salt. Even so, it doesn't exactly solve anything for us, does it, dear boy? And it would be nonsensical to dismiss her confession outright. I tell you what, why don't we ask her one last time, though I'm sure she'll just say she did it again. Fine. Let's do it. Let's ask her again. We'll see if she really believes herself to be the culprit. Huh? You mean me? Is this really what you want, Mr. Edgeworth? If it goes badly, it can significantly weaken your position. I know, but there's no other way. I only request that I be the one to question her. You really know how to tug at an old man's heartstrings, you know. But fine, ask away on one condition. If this turns out to be a waste of time, that's it. We'll call the proceeding to an end then and there, agreed? Call the proceedings to an end? You mean the hearing? Yes, dear boy, that's right. Perhaps you aren't a complete muddlehead after all. Now, just so we're clear, if we ask again, and all that happens is the girl confirms her guilt, she is officially declared guilty on the spot. Yes, that sounds like a great plan if I do say so myself. That's it. You just declare her guilty just like that. That's the gist of it. It's a big risk, but he's gonna find a way to condemn her either way if we don't do something. Kay. Yes. I know it's a lot to ask, but I need you to think. Do you remember anything else about what happened on the day of the murder? Anything that might help us prove your innocence? Why? Why are you still fighting it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's no use. I can't be of help to you. I'm sorry. I'm too scared to try and remember any more. What if I remember something even worse? And if I did, I'd just be making more trouble for you. Please, just accept it. The Kay you thought you knew is a dangerous criminal. A criminal who let you down and betrayed your trust. Don't worry, Kay. You have nothing to be afraid of. I may not have known you for very long, but I know you well enough. And right now, I say I know you better than you know yourself. You would never commit a murder. You could never, because this is who you really are. Kay! You are the Gemin Ninja.
Take that!
You're the great thief Yatagarasu, a noble outlaw who would never stoop so low as to kill. I can't do it, I'm sorry. Because all I can see is the one memory that's returned. I have to face it.
Hold it!
No, the only evidence of your guilt is the confession they forced out of you. As I said earlier, you have to believe that you're better than that. Or are you saying you don't believe a word of what I've been telling you? No, it's not that. You're trying so hard to help me. And you're risking so much for me. It's too much. You have to stop. I'm begging you. Ah, so that's what's going on. I thought it was strange, but now I see. The reason you're allowing yourself to be railroaded into accepting your fate is because of me, isn't it? Which is exactly what the Kay I know would have done. You're a good person, Mr. Edgeworth. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm not, and I don't plan on becoming one anytime soon. Because despite all your wishes to the contrary, I'm still trying to help you. So you see, I've merely been servicing my own ego, regardless of what I put you through. Now, let's try this again. See the good in yourself, Kay. Remember the noble thief that you truly are. That memory of you committing the murder. You need to question it with all you have. That's all I ask. So please, do it for me. Kay! What's wrong? Did you remember something? Oh-ho! It'd be like some cliché movie plot if she did. A cow? A cow? Mr. Edgeworth, if you could perhaps ask her for a few more details. Okay, what can you tell us about this cow? I remember now. The person in the red raincoat, she had it in her hand. A stuffed cow. I can see it so clearly now. Are you sure, Miss Faraday? Are you absolutely certain? Yes, I'm sure. Then this court acknowledges the defendant's latest statements as a new testimony. Have you lost your mind, Verity? We can't accept testimony like this. I mean, you were literally accepting one. With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, information pertaining to the victim and her possessions is new and highly relevant evidence. Need I remind you of the addled state of her memory? No, this simply won't do. Addled? But if you claim her memory is unreliable now, then our own argument is weakened, sir. You said yourself only a few minutes ago that thanks to the suspect's confession, we need not worry ourselves over the finer details, did you not? Yeah, she's on my side. Were we to call the validity of her memories into question, then we must also call into question the confession on which our entire argument is based. Is that really the most advisable course of action? Yes, you're right. Proceed as you see fit, then. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're still in the game, but only by the skin of our teeth. And only thanks to Judge Gavalle's intervention. It's almost as if she was on our side for a second. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? The stuffed animal. I believe the cow in question is this thing here, Your Honor. We found it in the storeroom and believe it is yet another auction lot. Wait, that's... Do you know something, Gavalle? No, it's just not what I imagined. I suppose it's a rather odd thing for the victim to have been carrying. I should look over it carefully. The right horn seems intact, but I can't say it's doing much for overall symmetry of the stuffed toy. Look, Mr. Edgeworth, it moves. It does. It sounded like sand being crushed. It would seem there's a recording device hidden inside. And... I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. Nothing to say for yourself? I've waited so long for this day, and now I'll finally have my revenge. Ah, Could this be the moment of the murder? And someone made a recording of it. Broken plushie data. Hey, that's them right there. Them's the voices I heard, sure as eggs is eggs. Unfortunately, we have no way of verifying when these voices were recorded. It's possible they have nothing to do with the murder. If only there was some accompanying video footage. You got bugs in your ears or something, lady, I done told you, them's the voices I heard. And we already know the victim was holding that thing, right? So it's gotta be from when she got. Yes, it is a possibility, but a weak one without more than your word to back it up. We need something more, something credible. Yet again, she seems to be stepping in help. Judge Gavalle, I think we all know the voices are from the moment of the murder. Consider for a moment the words we heard one of the speakers say. I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. I believe we have something that could explain what these words are referring to and how it's all related. Which piece of evidence proves that the voice murder occurred? Yeah, 'cause she's got the burn wound thing on her. The coroner's preliminary findings? How do they prove anything? Well, this page shows the voices must be from the time of the murder.
Take that!
If you read this part report again, you'll soon see what I'm getting at. Which part exactly, may I ask? Oh fuck, not the right part. Do I specifically have to do, I thought I just had to click the sentence, but I think I actually have to click, like, the words burn mark, not right hand.
Take that!
Think again on the words we heard. This part in particular sticks out in my mind. You can't hide that burn from me. The victim had a prominent burn mark on the back of her right hand. And what of it? According to case testimony, the victim was carrying the stuffed cow toy, and a burn mark, an identifying mark unique to the victim, was mentioned on the recording it captured. Huh, it's just a coincidence. Stuff like that happens all the time, right? I'm not so sure that it does, especially not in this case. The court accepts that the recording may be from the time of the murder, in which case one of the two voices must belong to the real culprit. And based on the content of the conversation, it seems likely that it's the one we heard the most. But that still doesn't tell us anything about the killer's true identity, or even if they're male or female. Either the voice change is correct. Unfortunately, but unavoidable. One thing, however, has become clear. We are now able to say that the voices Miss Hart heard were those of Miss Ringer and her killer. Just like I done told you they was. We can say something else now, too. And let's hear it. That is, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman. Do as you wish. According to Miss Hart, just before the murder occurred, two people came up the storeroom from the committee chambers on the elevator. The ringleader and one of the auction attendees. It seems this was at the point at which money exchanged hands. The murder happened immediately afterwards, and the auction carried on after that, all of which point to one key fact. The ringleader was the killer, yeah, because they would have exchanged money, he would have seen the burn on the hand. Since the ringleader was the auction's sole auctioneer, then it follows that they cannot be the victim. Hey, Gavalle. Not right now, Eustace. There's a good boy. And if they weren't the victim, then they can only have been the killer. A compelling argument, but hardly conclusive. I am fully aware of that, Your Honor. I was merely warming up for the main event. There were certain traces left on the scene that seemed to suggest that the ringleader was the killer. Then please hurry up and show us. What of something that was placed on the scene that points to the ringleader having been the killer? What is something that was placed on the scene that points to the ringleader as having been the killer? The blood, right? I mean, only two things were actually placed on the scene. The blood by, like, the candle that was left down here, and then the blood that once it was pulled out.
Take that!
Yeah, this. The killer deliberately left a large pool of blood at the foot of the Goddess of Justice statue. It was due to that blood that we originally thought the murder had happened in this chamber, but it was simply a ruse designed to cover up the blood that had dripped down from the storeroom, in order to conceal the existence of the underground auction, correct? Correct. If the culprit had nothing to do with the auction, they would have had no reason to cover up that blood, which further supports the theory that the ringleader and the killer were one and the same. And as to the identity of the ringleader, do you have anyone you'd like to name? The auction is always held in this committee chamber, with its storeroom located just overhead. So at the very least, we know the murderer ringleader has some connections to the committee. Yes, yes. And you suspect me, correct? As the committee's most powerful member, that should hardly be a surprise, right?
Objection!
You're a fine prosecutor. That much I'll give you. But as I think I may have mentioned earlier, you're also hopelessly naive. You've got nothing, dear boy, have you? No evidence whatsoever. Unless you've got something to share after all. I don't think I do. I don't. It was Chairman Winter herself who brought up the fact that I suspected him, and he seems confident right from the get-go that he's untouchable. Which means he knows. He knows I have nothing. Oh ho ho, well, Miles, my boy, time to pay the piper. I've always wanted to say that. Verity, he's all yours. Wait, dang it. I just remembered something. Huh? Did you have amnesia too? Nah, it just done came to me. Flash of inspiration, you know how it is. Very well. Say your piece.
Objection!
What are you doing, Verity? Mr. Edgeworth has made it clear that he won't give up until every last lick of hope has been extinguished. So extinguish we must, lest he try to drag us through this excruciating process again in the future. Yeah, she's on my side. Yeah, what she said. I don't quite get it, but it sounded pretty cool. Don't worry, Dad. I'll help Gavalle bring this to a winning finish. We'll show them how wrong they are. Fine. Let's hear what the witness has to say. You heard the chairman, Miss Hart, if you'd be so kind. Well, alright then. Here goes nothing. The facts, Miss Hart, and nothing but the facts, please. Don't you worry your pretty little head on that front. I'm a journalist. Truth's my middle name. Don't let me officially worried. So that ringleader's the killer, right? Which makes the victim one of the auction goers. Thing is, that don't add up. I counted 11 people coming down that hatch, see? Then the murder happened, and then the auction started back up again. Now I had me a look back downstairs right after that. No. And wouldn't you know it? There were 11 little duckies, all lined up in a row again. How? And you're sure of this, Miss Hart? Sure as sure can be, your Gavalle ship. Saw him with my own two peepers. So 11 before the murder and 11 again right after means... Wait, that's a thingy. A contradiction, Eustace. Do try and keep up. Miss Hart, did nothing really change at all? I done told you already. They carried right on again like nothing ever happened. Oh, except for it wasn't nothing much, but what is it? That little old mallet doodad. Can't have yourself an auction without one. Kinda like the one Missy over there's got, but different. The auctioneer's hammer. That's the bunny. I done heard that thing banging and clanging right the way through, then nothing, just like that. So the noise of the hammer stopped midway through. Could it have something to do with the murder? If what Miss Hart is telling us is the truth, we have something of a problem. Namely, that if the victim is neither the auctioneer nor one of the attendees, your entire theory cannot stand, Mr. Edgeworth. Chalk one up for justice. Eat that, Edgeworth. See, Mr. Edgeworth? There really was nothing we could do. She was the judge. Or the... Whoever at the auction hits the mallet. There must be something we're overlooking, something we still don't have an explanation for. I just need to think. If I can't, K is... Alright, kids, do we finally have all our answers now? If so, then I expect you to make good on our... Hold it! He's like, goddamn it, now what? One moment, sir. I worry that it might still be a little early to pass judgment. After all, we have one more matter yet to resolve. And until we do, we cannot claim complete and total victory over Mr. Edgeworth. Is that not so, Mr. Edgeworth? Frankly, I expected you to have raised your voice by now. A loud hold it, perhaps? Oh, yes, of course. Once again, she has rescued us from the jaws of defeat. Very well, let's get this over with, shall we? What is this one matter that still remains? Why, the contradiction in the coroner's report, sir. That's... I'm back with the witness, Your Honor. What's this all about? Why'd you call us back down here? Did somebody suddenly fall ill? I'll have a compress ready in 2 shakes of a ouch. This better be good. Did somebody else drop dead? Well, they might soon wish they had. Dr. Hertz, Miss Needler, thank you for coming on such short notice. Let me assure you this won't take long. Quit trying to butter me up and cut to the chase, will ya? Ha ha ha, of course. We summoned you here to confirm something. What is Gavalle up to? Dr. Hertz, this court asks that you provide the unabridged truth regarding the following. Do you stand by your preliminary findings? Can you vouch for their complete and total accuracy? Grandma doesn't make mistakes, ever. That's strange. Huh? What do you mean? In the course of this trial, an error was indeed found in her report. And so I ask again for the truth, Dr. Hertz. Did you alter, tamper with, or in any way falsify your findings? That's awful. How can you even say that? What are you asking me for? Why the heck would I want to do that? To help the true culprit, of course. As if I know anything about all that. I just know I didn't do anything of the sort. And that seems doubly strange. What other explanation could there be for the discrepancy in your report? Mr. Edgeworth, I wonder if you might have any thoughts on the matter. It's not like you to be coy, I must say. Why does she keep taking charge and helping me? I still don't know what she's trying to do, but I'll happily take what I can get. If everything was recorded accurately and then handed off to Mr. Winner according to protocol, then the report shouldn't contain any mistakes. Wait, for the record, I didn't do anything to report. I guess we'll see, won't we? Dr. Hertz, perhaps we can begin with your side of the story? Why do we even need to? This is pointless. I'll be the judge of what's pointless, thank you very much. We have patients waiting back at the hospital. But Grammy, ouch! Well, we really don't have time for this. Won't you please help us? I can't stress how important this is. Grandma says she'll testify. But could you please make it quick? You're putting out back soon, people will suffer. And yet you had no qualms about taking your time and buying cotton candy the last time we saw you. We'll let you go as soon as we can, I promise. Assuming you tell us the truth, that is. Well, we will hear Grammy's side of the story next time. I'm gonna go get food. I'm clearly hungry. Bye-bye.